My name is Paul Reevy, and I am presenting the preliminary outline of a community engagement strategy for a potential future outbreak of banana freckle disease in Darwin. Australians love bananas. They are Australia's #1 selling supermarket product, with over 5 million eaten daily, all of them grown in Australia. In the 2016-17 financial year, Australian banana growers sold 414,000 tonnes of fresh bananas, valued at $600 million. Including flow-on benefits, the industry contributed $1.3 billion to the national economy. Banana farming and associated industry provides 9,600 full-time jobs and a significant amount of part-time and seasonal work. 95% of bananas grown in Australia are Cavendish varieties, followed by ladyfingers and an assortment of other varieties grown for smaller markets. Most bananas are grown in Queensland, with smaller amounts in New South Wales, Western Australia and the Northern Territory. The Territory is Australia's northernmost banana growing region. However, an outbreak of Panama disease in the 1990s substantially reduced production. By 2012, there were only 4 commercial banana plantations in the Territory, and in 2013 an outbreak of banana freckle halted commercial production altogether, as well as necessitating the destruction of a large number of banana trees. This outbreak and response is able to teach us valuable lessons for how community engagement could be handled in the event of a second outbreak in the future. Banana freckle is a banana disease that poses a serious threat to Australia's banana industry, as it affects the commercial value and marketability of bananas. It is caused by a fungus, and 4 species are recognised. Prior to 2013, the species that infects Cavendish bananas, Phylosticta cavendishii, was not established in Australia. Phylosticta cavendishii has been recorded from East Timor, Indonesia, Malaysia, the Philippines, Hawaii, Sri Lanka, Taiwan, Vietnam, and several Pacific Island nations. Banana freckle affects the fruits as well as the leaves of banana trees. On the fruit, the fungus only invades the skin, so while the eating qualities are not impacted, infection makes the fruit visually unappealing. Infected bananas are unlikely to be acceptable to buyers, so the disease reduces the commercial value of the fruit. Infection can also detrimentally affect the health of the plant, causing death of the leaves and reducing fruit yields. Destruction of all plants within quarantine zones has proved the only guaranteed method of eradication. The most characteristic symptoms of plants infected with banana freckle are the spotted appearance of the leaves and fruit and the rough sandpaper-like texture. There are 2 size classes of spots. Small spots are less than 1 mm in diameter and appear sooty, while larger spots are up to 4 mm across, and sometimes the centre of these larger spots are lighter in colour. Spots of both sizes can run together and appear as streaks. Severe infections can cause the leaves to become yellow, wither and die. Spots develop on the green fruit and fruit stalk and may completely cover the fruit by the time it is harvested. The spots contain sac-like structures which contain the spores of the freckle fungus. These structures protrude through the surface of the leaf and cause the sandpapery texture of infected plants. Banana freckle can be spread over short distances by wind and rain. Fungal fruiting bodies are found in the freckle spots, and spore release is stimulated by rain or heavy dew. While this type of natural spread and dispersal may be important over short distances, of far greater consequence to biosecurity is long-distance spread and the colonisation of previously uninfected areas. Long-distance dispersal occurs through the movement of infected fruit, leaves, or cuttings and suckers used for planting. Moisture is essential for spore survival, so as long as shipments of fruit remain damp, the fungus can survive. When spores come in contact with a new living host, they germinate and multiply, creating new freckle spots on the host plant. Situated on the Timor Sea, Darwin is the capital and administrative centre for the Northern Territory, with an estimated 150,000 inhabitants. Around 10% of the population is made up of Indigenous Australians, the largest proportion of any Australian capital city, and a substantial percentage of the population is made up of recent immigrants from Southeast Asia. Darwin is closer to Dili, Denpasar, Jakarta and Port Moresby than to any other Australian capital city, providing a link between Australia and Asia. Like other parts of northern Australia, Darwin has a tropical monsoonal climate with distinct wet and dry seasons and a remarkably stable average maximum temperature. Most rain falls between the months of November and March, a period associated with monsoon rains and tropical cyclones. The major industries in the region are mining and tourism, with smaller but important contributions from agriculture and defence. Agricultural production in the Northern Territory is dominated by the livestock meat trade, while fruit and vegetable production contributes approximately 11% of the total value of agriculture. In July 2013, the species of banana freckle that affects Cavendish bananas was detected at a residential property close to Darwin. Cavendish banana freckle is a priority under the Banana Industry Biosecurity Plan and a Category 3 emergency plant pest under the Emergency Plant Pest Response Deed, the EPPRD. In response to the outbreak, the National Banana Freckle Eradication Program was established, led by the Northern Territory Department of Primary Industry and Fisheries under the direction of a national management group. A large-scale surveillance program checked over 30,000 properties for the pest. Banana freckle was detected at 268 premises as far away as Eastern Arnhem Land and Melville Island. 6 red zones were established, and all banana plants within these zones were destroyed, wiping out basically all the bananas in the top end, while movement of banana plants and fruit was restricted. A host-free period was then enacted where no planting of bananas was allowed to ensure that freckle fungus had no host plant material on which to survive. In Phase 3 of the program, sentinel plants were reintroduced to properties in the top end and inspected for any signs of freckle. In June 2017, the Northern Territory was declared free of banana freckle, and in July the 6 quarantine zones were abolished. The National Banana Freckle Eradication Program represented Australia's largest successful pest eradication project. However, the program was controversial and led to the shutdown of a $5 million commercial industry for 4 years, as well as negatively impacting thousands of people who grow bananas at home. The way the program, and particularly the communication strategy, was conducted resulted in a great deal of negative sentiment. The following quotes were associated with the program, which indicate that community engagement could have been carried out more effectively in the eyes of at least some stakeholders. I really object to the secretiveness. It's just nonsense as to how they've arrived at this decision. I'm speechless, honestly, and that's pretty rare for me. There's no problem with it, the fruit. It's just the government that are the ones messing me around. I said, you're not poisoning my bananas. You can take my bananas over my dead body. Lessons learned from the 2013 outbreak and the consequent eradication program provide an important starting point for any future engagement campaign. There are a number of objectives for the community engagement strategy for banana freckle. These include identification of all relevant stakeholders for inclusion in the decision-making process, working with stakeholders to create solutions to eradicate banana freckle. The strategy is designed to give stakeholders an understanding of how decisions were reached and why they were made. To build relationships between all stakeholders, ensuring an atmosphere of trust is reached and maintained between groups with different perspectives and attitudes. And to raise public awareness and knowledge of banana freckle, its impacts on both the banana industry and backyard growers, and the threat to the $600 million plus national banana industry. An initial stakeholder analysis for banana freckle has identified 4 major groups that must be engaged during the communication strategy. Government agencies and staff. This category includes the Northern Territory Department of Primary Industry and Fisheries, Biosecurity Australia, and local, state and federal politicians who have an interest in the disease as it affects their constituents. Industry bodies. This group includes important industry representative bodies such as the Australian Banana Growers Association, Plant Health Australia, the Nursery and Garden Industry Australia, and the Northern Territory Farmers Association. These groups may act as important conduits of information. Banana growers and associated industry. The members of this group have the most to lose from any eradication program, as their livelihoods are directly threatened by banana freckle. Banana growers encompass commercial farmers, hobby growers, and backyard banana enthusiasts, while associated industries provide transport, banana plants, and farm services such as weed and pest control. Buyers and consumers. This group includes both commercial banana wholesalers and the general public, who consume over 400,000 tonnes of fresh Australian bananas each year. Through schools and community groups, important information can flow both from and to government agencies. All good communication engagement strategies should be conducted within a strong ethical framework. 10 engagement principles that will guide the preparation and enactment of the engagement process are careful planning and preparation, time and resources, inclusiveness and influence, genuine deliberation, collaboration and shared commitment, openness and learning, transparency, trust and respect, evaluation, and creation of a participatory culture. I've highlighted inclusiveness and trust and respect in this list to indicate their importance. As a potentially controversial topic, it is vital that all stakeholders, including those who might be strongly negative, vocal or outspoken, are included, as their exclusion could create later problems. And trust and respect underpins any good ethical community engagement and creates an atmosphere of understanding and productivity. A number of barriers exist to successful community engagement, which can lead to community dissatisfaction and implementation failure. A lack of time and resources is commonly cited as a major inhibition to engaging stakeholders in the ideal way. Negative stakeholder attitudes from previous engagement experiences can foster a lack of trust, reduce participation, and increase litigation, an important consideration for the current strategy given community sentiment during the previous eradication program. Skepticism of the degree to which stakeholder participation contributes to the decision-making process can also lead to mistrust and dissatisfaction, again important in the present situation as destruction of banana plants will likely be required. Community engagement needs to be seen as a constructive learning process for all those participating, including those implementing the strategy, as the decide, announce, defend mentality is no longer appropriate. The IAP2 spectrum of public participation has been developed to demonstrate the increasing levels of community participation in decision-making. Traditionally, community engagement has been geared towards the left of the spectrum, specifically the inform and consult categories in this diagram. However, with increasing public demand for more involvement in the decision-making process, it is necessary for effective and successful community engagement to move toward the right side of the spectrum. When dealing with banana freckle and its potentially disastrous consequences for the $600 million banana industry, it is not feasible to place final decision-making in the hands of the public, as it will likely be necessary to impose quarantine zones and compulsorily destroy banana plants. However, the strategy will seek to involve and collaborate with the public in reaching this decision and making it publicly acceptable to the majority of stakeholders. The implementation phase of the community engagement strategy will consist of a number of activities designed to involve and include all major stakeholder groups, to build empathy and trust between groups with different perspectives on the issue, to raise awareness of banana freckle, its impact, symptoms and spread, and to build community capacity. These activities will include websites and fact sheets, advertising and media stories, social media pages and groups, open days and roadshows, education and awareness programs, community meetings and discussion forums, discussion and focus groups, group workshops, one-on-one interviews, community reference groups, and champions. These activities cover the spectrum from informing to empowering and can be iterative and evolve throughout the course of the process. They will ensure that the diverse array of stakeholders is reached and represented and contributes to the decision-making process and its outcomes. This strategy also allows specific groups within the community to be targeted with expertise to generate new ideas and hopefully achieve consensus on the final decision. The use of champions deserves special mention, as people are more likely to trust people they respect or who are part of the same social network. Successful community engagement strategies are necessary to protect Australia's economy and environment from an increasing number of biosecurity threats. The current strategy will build the capacity of the community to prevent and respond to pest incursions and is designed to build trust between the community and government agencies. A strong record of community engagement equals strong biosecurity. Thank you.